I'm Cali, and I'm young and great. I'm Cali, InkByKali, that's what everybody know me as. I'm a philanthropist, I'm a manager, I'm an influencer. Uh, that's really about it, man. I don't really do too much. As a child, something that impacted me was really being raised by my mom. That's probably it. Like, I ain't really had like no dad or no father figure, nothing in my life. My brother was in prison my entire life. So really just seeing her do literally everything for me. Like whatever I needed, she supported. I wanted to play sports, she supported it. I wanted to, I don't know, go throw the rocks outside. She supported it. Like whatever I needed, she bought into it. When I started tattooing, she bought into that. She bought me my first tattoo kit. It was $100. It was the wackest equipment ever, but it started. It started who I am today. So really just her. Like her influence on me was my biggest impact as a child. All right, so what happened was when I left, what made me an entrepreneur and getting the tattoo and everything I do now is when I left high school, I went to college, and I went to college on a baseball scholarship. But I only went there for a semester because I was doing music. That's what a lot of people don't know. If you're from Atlanta, a lot of people in Atlanta know that I did music. But I was in a group called Getaway Boys. It was like a hip hop R&B group. So I left college after a semester. We signed a deal with Universal Motown. And at that point, once that didn't work out, like the music kind of just went sour. We had bad management. I literally was like, I can't, what am I going to do at this point? Like, so I tried to get jobs. Jobs wouldn't hire me because I got tattoos all over my body. And then on top of that, I have no work experience whatsoever. So me not having work experience is like, what am I going to do? Tattoos for me, it was like, that's how I vented. So instead of me like going out doing other stuff, I would get tattoos. Like that was my peace. Like that was my medication, like meditation by getting tattooed. So I was like, man, you know what? Maybe I start doing tattoos. So the guy that was tatting me, I would ask him like, you know what I'm saying? You mind showing me a few things? Like I'm trying to learn a little bit. Me, I'm a hands-on learner. Like and then I also feel like whatever you're gonna do, you gotta do it all the way. Like you can't half step, otherwise you shouldn't be doing it. So I was like, you know what I'm saying, show me a few things. So he'd show me, and then for me getting tattooed so much, I was literally just watching I watch how he set up a machine, I watch how he layer it, watch how he clean the needles out, like when he going to different colors, like I'll pay attention to all those things. So then I kind of like, I told my mom about it. She's like, okay, cool. And then I kind of just jumped into it. I really didn't know what I was doing. Mind you, don't have an art background. I don't know anything. I didn't know anything about drawing. Like I couldn't draw. The most I probably draw is a stick figure. Like I was terrible. And so it goes to show, like if people look at my tattoos now, they be like, oh wow, like that's crazy. Especially if I tell you that I couldn't draw. Like you wouldn't believe what's going on. I would definitely say in that point in life, I probably did go through like a real depression stage, like being lost, like not knowing like what I'm actually gonna do in life. And at that point, what like a lot of people don't know, like, is when I started really tattooing, it was this guy named King Tattoos. And he kind of like showed me like the ropes of tattooing, because what happened was I would buy tattoo supplies from his shop. He had a shop on like Shamley Tucker. I would go over there and buy supplies all the time. And he would always ask me like, man, you come over here a lot and buy like supplies, like let me see some of your work. And at that point, all I did was line work. I didn't do any shading. I never used a shader needle at all. I would only tat line work on people. Like I tell them I don't know how to do it. But people still want to get tatted by me. He was like, how do you have so many clients? I was like, probably because I did music and a lot of people know who I am. So I kind of just use that clout and let people know like, yeah, I'm doing tattoos now. People see it on my Facebook and stuff. And so he's like, man, you ever need a loan, anything, just, come holler at me. You can come sit in on the session. If you got a client that want to do something that you don't know how to do, I'll do the tattoo with you and help you out. Well, all right, cool. So that's how I started bringing a few people through there at that shop. And then something bad happened. He ended up losing his shop. So like a few months went by. I wasn't tattooing. He wasn't like had nothing going on. So he finally found a location for a new tattoo shop, and that was 219. And that's why I started my actual tattoo career at 219. It's like a little orange house on 14th Street. Like a lot of people know about it. Like that's where I started at. So he called me like, yo, I'm opening a new shop. I want you to come and be a part of it. Like, so like the barter would be, I kind of help you like about like learning how to tattoo, and then like since you have such like strong like pushing people like rock with you and people want to like be around you and you bring a lot of clients, like that'd be the trade-off. Help get my shop popping and I help you with tattooing. So I'm like, all right, cool. So what happened, mind you, I didn't have a car. This is the process of me trying to learn what I'm trying to do. So I was riding a MARTA, like from Stone Mountain to downtown. And I would go there not having no clients, like not knowing like how I'm gonna make it throughout the day. And like the money that I had from the music, I literally spent it all. My mom had went on bed rest for like 6 months or whatever, and I had to take care of her. So literally if you just sitting there just spending money and not making money, I mean, it's a downfall from there. So I kind of was back at like square one trying to figure it out. So I go to the tattoo shop, get no clients. It was a new shop, so nobody knew where we were at. So I literally just be up there all day, every day. And then I made a sacrifice. And the sacrifice was what took me to where I needed to be. I started staying at the tattoo shop. That's what a lot of people don't know. I stayed at the tattoo shop for like 3-4 months. In the back of the tattoo shop, I slept on the floor in the back of the tattoo shop. When I got money, I would go get a hotel room for like $25, take a shower, you know what I'm saying? Like instead of me relying on my mom all the time, I literally made myself uncomfortable. Like that's what it was for me. Like, cause I was already uncomfortable, but I had to make myself extra uncomfortable to get to where I needed to be. You know what I mean? And that kind of helped me out. Like, and so I was able to get an apartment. I found my first apartment after the drought. I call it the drought. Like after the drought, I found an apartment like $450 a month. Like that was a steal. I wish I was paying that now. But it was a steal. $450 a month, man. It was amazing. Like it was a terrible apartment, but it was something I can call mine. And at that point, I was working, and then finally, that's how everything progressed from there. So literally, I was in a depression, but I made myself more uncomfortable to get through it, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense to people, but to me, it makes sense. What led me in the direction to be a philanthropist, my mom, growing up, she worked at Comcast. So when she worked at Comcast, she was over Comcast Cares. So I would always go back, and we would always like go paint schools, we'll build up communities, things of that nature. So it was something that they would always do like the March of Dimes. And so what ended up happening was I had built like a strong influence. And I had started Hug Life already. So Hug Life, my nonprofit organization, I started that by itself, but it wasn't a nonprofit organization. I had started managing an artist, his name is Fatbacks. And he reached out to me, he was like, he's an EDM artist. And I started managing him, and I told him, like, you know, you need in order to like get something going in Atlanta, you need a following. Like you need some type of group so people can bandwagon and jump and be a part of it, because that's the society that we live in. Like that's what it's built around in Atlanta. So one day we was at the shop, and he was like, man, I want to get Thug Life on my stomach. He was just, you know what I'm saying, playing around. I was like, man, don't get Thug Life, get Hug Life. No thugging, just hugging. And we're just like, this is just us talking our trash like we normally do. So then like the next day he was like, man, let's just use Hug Life. I'm like, I bet. So I called my homie up. I called my homie Westwood up, like, y'all need to get this logo made. Like I described to him how I wanted the logo to be made. He made the logo. I pulled up on him, made my, you know, a few little re-edits. Then that was like the box logo we had. And then like at that point I was in like Buddhism. So like about like the way of life of Buddhism. And that's what like, it's like a little Buddha man in the logo. And really just about, and that part of that logo came from Buddhism, for what the little Buddha came from, like being one with self. So like if somebody says something disrespectful to you, like you don't let it affect you unless you allow it to. Because once somebody like says something to you and it makes you mad, like they control you at that point. For example, you going to work, you get a flat tire, like you only have a bad day if you choose to have a bad day. Like stuff happens to people every day. Bills gonna keep coming. So you can stress over it if you want to, but it ain't gonna make nothing better. Stress only leads to more stress. Honestly, something I wish I would have known growing up was I wish I would have known what I was gonna do. I wish I would have known what I was destined to do. I don't even know if this is what I'm destined to do, honestly, but I wish I would have known something. Like I just thought I was gonna play sports. Like that was my meal ticket. So I wish I would have been more prepared. I feel like if I would have started everything I'm doing now at a young age, then like my career would be like way further than what it is now. So what I try to do, people that's younger than me that I'm cool with, I tell them like whatever you want to do, like start it now. When I go speak at high schools, I tell them start it now. Like, or even if you don't know that's what you want to do, just keep trying things. Keep failing. Don't be afraid to fail. And I wish I would have known that too. Because back when I was younger, I'd be afraid to fail. I'd be afraid to try things. Like now I'm not afraid to try anything. Like failure is what makes me better. I would say the biggest thing will be persistence. Persistence will be the biggest thing in someone being successful. But then it's kind of sidetrack because I would say, honestly, just being like consistent. Consistent would be the word I would pick. Like constantly doing something. A lot, like talent is a lot, but a lot of people have talent, they don't have drive. Like they don't have ambition. They really don't know like what to do. And a lot of people have their talent and then they take other things for granted. So you might have an artist or something that does music, might be the best person at doing music, but they don't know how to promote the music. They don't know how to interact with people. Like you kind of got to have a little bit of everything. When you're consistent and you're persistent at certain things, like you're always learning. You're always on the go. Like your mind never stops working. Like you don't get comfortable. And that goes back to what I said earlier, like being uncomfortable, make yourself uncomfortable. And I do that daily. I make myself uncomfortable and then I stay consistent. I stay consistent daily, and I think that's the biggest thing to being successful. Like consistency. Consistency is key. And it sounds, everybody says it every day. We grew up hearing it every day. But like once you start to really live it, then you really start to understand what that phrase really means. Success for me, I think success looks pretty good for me in the future. I think I'll be able to put myself in a position to help like everybody. And that's what Hug Life Cares. That's what me opening, like I'm gonna open a tattoo shop, and with that tattoo shop, I'm gonna like offer classes and I'm gonna offer opportunities for young artists to get them off the street, to teach them how to use their skills and their mind frame to do something. And like I tell people, like to do something you really don't know have to do it, like how to do it. Like you can learn it. Like some things are like talent, some things are skills. A lot of things to get ahead in life is skills and knowledge. Like you don't have talent to do everything. Like you can't teach somebody how to sing. I mean, you have to just have that. Like you can make your voice a little better and bring more out of it, but you just can't you gotta have that. But as far as everything else, like you can learn it. But it's like whatever you choose to do, like put everything into it, like put your heart into it. So I would say for me, like success is gonna look real good for me. Like I want all my friends. We're gonna just get fast cars. We're gonna go race them. We gonna just do everything. We're gonna travel to where I want to be able to call my homies up. Like, yo, what you doing this weekend? Cool. Cancel your plan. Let's go overseas. Like I want to live life. Like I don't want to sit back and just constantly go through the same stress. Like you think of a person that works a 9 to 5, which I don't knock anybody working 9 to 5, but they literally wake up and do the same thing their entire life. Like their entire life, it's a schedule. So you wake up, you get dressed, you get you some breakfast, you go to work, you get off work, you come home, rest a little bit, watch a little TV show, go to sleep, and you repeat that. On Wednesdays you might do something, Thursdays you might do something. It's the same routine every week, and a lot of people don't understand it. Like you turn into a robot, and before you know it, your life passes you by. So for me, like success for me is living and seeing more things for myself and people around me. Like that's what success is for me. I feel like people can break the cycle, just like the cycle is really a habit. It becomes a habit, and it also becomes a comfortability. So say for example, like so a person that works a 9 to 5, they know what day they get paid. As an entrepreneur, we don't know when we're gonna get paid. Like we don't know where our next source of income is coming from. You got to work for it, and that also comes into breaking habits. So what we do is we take our bad habits and then we turn them into good habits. So that'll be waking up early, working, learning, reaching out to a certain amount of people a day, getting certain things done. Like turn those things into habits, growing. Like turn everything that seems normal or seems like, oh, this is something I should do, but turn it into a habit instead of just looking at it as just something normal. You know what I mean? Like utilize your time. Like we all have the same amount of hours in a day, and people always say like, man, it ain't enough hours in a day. Man, it's more than enough hours in a day. You just got to learn how to have time management. That's what it boils down to, time management. You can get a lot of things done in a day. And then I tell people all the time, overnight success doesn't happen overnight either. Like overnight success, that's built over years. But it just looks like overnight success to you because you just not seeing it. And that's just how society works. So I think breaking the habit is literally just is what it is. Breaking the habit and creating new ones and turning those into habits. And I think that's key. Some advice I give to other entrepreneurs out there is whatever you're gonna do, put your heart into it. A lot of us don't know who we are until we fail or until we get to that breaking point. A lot of us don't know who we are. So with that being said, it's just go for it. Whatever it is, like whatever you want to do, try it out, do it, fail, get back up, do it again, and don't stop. And then also, like I said, like when I say you put your heart into it, it means you're going to treat it differently. You're going to treat your success differently. You're going to treat things you get differently. You got to think if somebody were to give me a pair of shoes right now, I'm going to dog them out because I don't really care about it because somebody gave them to me. Now, if I work for them shoes to go get them shoes, I'm going to treat them differently. I might clean them up a little bit, and I think that's with anything. If somebody give you something, you take it for granted. But if you work for something, you treat it like gold. And I think that's in life. So if you want to do something, work for it. Like, don't look for the fast money. Don't look for that. Like if you're doing something, like look into the craft. So like if you're doing tattoos, like don't look at being a tattoo artist for the money. Like look at being a tattoo artist for the art. You're doing things with a camera, do it for the art. Like the money gonna come as long as your work doing what it's supposed to do. The money gonna be there. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. People look at things and look at it for the fast money. Like, nah, fast money go quick. But it's all about that residual income. It's all about equity. Like that's what it's about for real. So building something, owning stuff, get your credit right. Like while you young, I made bad mistakes with my credit. I'm fixing them now. But it's like build that because credit is all you really have. Like equity, own something, own some property, own your car. Like own something. Like what can you wake up and say you own? Like you got to be able to own something. Like live your life to the fullest. Like do it. Do it.